Hello guys, this is Caesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode of the Tropical Valley Park we are creating a habitat for another dinosaur that is available in the alpha version of Prehistoric Kingdom, and this dinosaur is the Edmontosaurus. It is believed that the Edmontosaurus lived in the swamps, near the rivers, near the lakes, basically near the water. So I knew I wanted to create a very moist habitat for it. That's why I decided to make a swamp, and this is what we are building today. As you can see, I lowered the terrain so that this habitat is a bit lower, and thanks to this we will easily create a viewing platform for this habitat. I wanted to build a wooden structure that will serve as a viewing platform for the guests. And this viewing platform will go inside the habitat so the guests will have a perfect viewing for the Edmontosauruses, as the dinosaurs will basically roam around the guests. So I wanted to go for a wooden building that will be on the stilts or wooden pillars. Just a typical building that you will easily find in regions near the swamps, or for example in Amazon forests where there's a lot of water. And yeah, this is something that I was going for. It was actually very easy to build in this game, but I really like how it has turned out in the end. This habitat is located near the Nasutoceratops cliff that we've built last time. This area is coming along quite nicely, and I cannot wait to give you guys a final tour of this park. In case you haven't seen my last video with Nasutoceratops, I will put the link down in the description and on the screen. After finishing this Edmontosaurus habitat, we'll basically have half of all the dinosaurs that are currently available in the game. So we've built habitat for Styracosaurus, Nasutoceratops, and now Edmontosaurus. So if you are familiar with an alpha, you probably know that 3 dinosaurs that are left are the T-Rex, the Microraptors, and Lambertosaurus. We'll for sure build habitats for them. As I said last time, I tried to build unique habitats for all of those dinosaurs, so that each and every habitat has a little twist and looks quite different from each other. I've already built a next habitat for next dinosaur because I like to be a bit ahead of the schedule, and I can already tell you that I love how it has turned out. For me, it was first time building something like this, so if you want to see that build and you want to see habitats for T-Rex, Lambertosaurus and Microraptor, please subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of them. Of course, the Prehistoric Kingdom doesn't have so many fans yet, I mean comparing for example to Planet Zoo. But this game basically haven't been released yet, so that is totally understandable. But I know that there are some loyal fans of this little series here on my channel. So thank you so much for watching the videos, for all the comments and all the positive feedback. I hope that you will enjoy this video as well, and the ones that will come in the future. As you can see, the viewing platform is slowly coming along. I love how easy it was to build, but I kinda wish that we had recallable pieces in this game, because as much as I love all the construction pieces in this game, I am not so in love with their colors, especially in the bright light, because they're simply a bit too saturated for me. I mean, the color of the wood, mainly this lighter one, is a bit like too yellow. I would love to go and change this color to be less saturated, but I cannot right now, and I wonder if we'll be able to change the colors in the full release of this game. I mean, in Planet Zoo we have some pieces that, we can change color of. Most of them are in the default color, but there are some that you can actually change the color, and for me it's a huge game changer because thanks to this, the possibilities to use that piece are basically endless. And also what I like to do when, for example, it comes to wooden pieces, when you use them, you know, next to each other and repeat them a lot, is change the colors ever so slightly so it looks more natural. You know, there are no two planks in exact the same color, so changing the color even a bit makes this whole build look more natural. And this is something that I am lacking a bit in this build in Prehistoric Kingdom. Don't get me wrong, I love it, I love how it turned out, but it looks a bit weird with the yellow color of this roof, and that it is a bit bland with, you know, no color variations. But if feature like this would be added to the full version of this game, I would be very, very, very happy. Okay, and while I am putting some finishing touches to this viewing platform, I think that it is perfect time for our fun facts. So, as you guys probably know by now, in every video I try to give you some fun facts about an animal or about dinosaur, like in this case, that we are currently adding to our parks or zoos. So today's fun facts are about Edmontosauruses. Edmontosaurus was firstly discovered in the Horseshoe Canyon Formation in Alberta, Canada. After that, its fossils were also found in Alaska, Wyoming, Montana, and New Jersey, in the United States. Also, two mummified Edmontosauruses fossils were found in Wyoming, and thanks to that, it is said that the Edmontosaurus is the North America most studied dinosaur. As I said, the Edmontosaurus lived in swamps, by the rivers and lakes, and on the coasts. It could move on two legs or four legs, and it is thought that it lived in herds. It belonged to the family of Hadrosauruses. It had bulky body with a long tail and a head with an expanded duck-like beak. The skull had no bony crests, unlike many other Hadrosauruses. The crest of Edmontosaurus was made out of skin and scales. It was a fairly large dinosaur. It was over 13 meters or 40 feet. Some of the individuals were probably even over 15 meters, so it was one of the largest dinosaurs of its time. Its beak and teeth were adapted to mashing up tough plant material, such as conifer needles, bark, and horsetail. Edmontosaurus lived at the same territories as the Tyrannosaurus rex, and fossil evidence shows that the T-Rex hunted and ate them. Bones show evidence of being eaten by T-Rex and even healed wounds from T-Rex attacks. But the Edmontosaurus could actually run up to the speed of 28 miles per hour or 40 kilometers per hour, which makes it faster than a T-Rex. So it actually had some chance against the large predator. The numerous preserved skin and scale patterns show that Edmontosaurus had very thick and tough skin. The skin that was mummified actually shows us that this dinosaur was striped. I really like how this dinosaur looks in this game, and I'm also super happy that we got 3 of the subspecies of Edmontosaurus. I mean, you use them as the reskins, but they are very different from each other. I don't remember their names, but I mean, they have different colors. There's one without a crest on its head, and there's also a one that is smaller than the 2 other ones. So this is very nice to see. And in fact, it makes the whole animal roster more diverse, because I could easily see players building habitats for all those 3 subspecies like separately, and the same goes for all other dinosaurs, because they're basically different dinosaurs. So in your parks you can have 3 habitats for every subspecies and, present them to the guests as different dinosaurs, just as the zoos do it now. I mean, sometimes they have subspecies of animals in the same enclosure, but sometimes they choose to house them separately. For example, the plain zebra and the gravy zebra, or different species of giraffes. Housing them separately also prevents breeding, I mean crossbreeding between those different subspecies. So yeah, for me that is very cool addition. As you can see, I already started to work on an actual habitat because this viewing platform is basically finished. As I said, I wanted it to be a swamp, so there will be a lot of water, so don't be surprised about the amount of water in this habitat. At some point I also realized that it can be a bit too small for those dinosaurs, so I decided to make it even bigger, and also thanks to that they could have some more of land. I used a lot of rock formations that we created in previous episodes to give this habitat some boundaries. I also didn't want to make this video too long, so please forgive me for copying the rock formations that we already built, but I wanted to focus more on foliage in this habitat and not spend 2 hours adding another walls of rocks around it. When it comes to the foliage and plants, I actually went a bit crazy in this habitat, but I really love how it turned out in the end. I figure out that if there's a lot of water, I mean like in the swamp, this area should be very dense, very lush, because most of plants love water, so they'll easily grow in there. Also, I watched a lot of photos of swamps on the Google Graphics so that I have an idea of how they actually look like. Because where I live, there aren't many places like this. I mean, we don't have any swamps in here. So I went for some pictures to look for inspiration. And basically all the swamps are very lush with a lot of plants growing out of the water and on the shores of the water. So this is something that I wanted to go for. I really like the trees that we have in game from the wetland biome. I think that they are called Cypress Trees. Those are the trees that I basically saw on the pictures of the swamps of the North America. They have those very characteristic hanging parts. I have no idea how they are called. I think that they are flowers, but I'm not sure and I don't want to say something stupid, so I won't continue, but those trees look very cool. And again, the fact that you can rescale them, make them totally different, even that it is basically the same model of the tree, is amazing to me. And thanks to this we are basically able to create this very dense swampy habitat using only 2 kinds of trees. But for me, the plant that made it look the most like the swamp is this bush that I'm using right now. I think it is called Italian bush or Italian something. Rescaling it and, creating those piles of bushes, it really made it all come together. I mean the swamp. Because I covered basically all the shores of the water with this plant, and it looks like those dense bushes that grow in the swamps, and it really looks super well. Later I will add another plants inside of those bushes to add more texture and dimension, and it will look even more wonderful. As I told you guys, I was so surprised how easy it was to create this habitat in this game. Those plants are amazing to me, and creating those large bushes and copying them over and over again in different places made it look super natural and super dense. And for me, it doesn't even look like I copied them over and over again. I mean, I rotated them a bit every time, but in the end you cannot really tell that it wasn't like placed one by one, which makes me really happy. I also added a lot of those logs and dead trees. For the sake of texture and realism, I mean, the swamp is rather messy. When the tree dies and falls into the water, it will basically stay there until it dissolves. So I wanted to recreate that a bit. Also, you can see me now repainting the terrain a bit. I was actually super surprised because I watched a video of some other creator. I think it was the Lay Designer, and she said that, oh, I really like the texture of the woodland, it suits my habitat. And I was like, what woodland? We only have tropical biome right now. And then I realized that we can actually change the biome which we are, painting the ground with to any that we want. And for me, this is like super game changing because it's the thing that I'm lacking a bit in Planet Zoo. Not all the biomes are now available in Prehistoric Kingdom, but we got 4 of them, and this wetland one is really nice. And painting my swamp with this terrain made it look even better. When it comes to the Planet Zoo and painting the terrain, I sometimes wish that we could change the terrain that which we are painting in as well, because let's imagine a zoo that is, for example, in a desert biome or African grassland biome, but you would like to have green grass in the habitat of a certain animal, or simply a park or something like this in the middle of your zoo with green grass. And right now you basically cannot do it in Planet Zoo because in desert biome the grass will be very dry and yellow, but basically in real life the zoo can water the grass. It can use sprinklers so that it will have enough water to stay green even if the temperature is very high. I've been to the zoo in Dubai. It is basically located in the middle of the desert, but they still have a lot of plants, a lot of grass in habitats because they simply water the grass. And it is very green and very lush in the parts where the more tropical animals live, and it's more deserty in the parts of desert animals. There's a huge part of the zoo committed to Arabian animals, which is basically a desert. And for me it looks very nice. Because of it you can actually build more of themed areas in your zoo. And right now we cannot do it, but I am super glad that we can actually do it in Prehistoric Kingdom, and I'm super happy that I watched this video and discovered it. As you can see, there are a lot of plants in this habitat, and there will be much more, and I love how it has turned out in the end. I hope you will love it too, and it looks even better with dinosaurs in it, as you'll be able to see in the cinematics by the end of this video. I also wanted to make sure that the guests don't see any free spaces or the sky or any clearance through the plants in this habitat. I wanted it to look like there's a dense jungle behind it, so this painting tool with the plants was ideal for it. I also added some of those large trees and sunk them into the ground, so there's absolutely no clearances in this, and it gave this habitat even more of this swampy dark vibe. And it actually makes me wonder what I will build for the Lumbertosaurus, because they lived in very similar environments, but I would like to give them totally different and unique habitats, and it will actually be a bit hard to make another swampy habitat look unique and better than this one. But I am up to the challenge. In a minute you'll be able to see me adding water plants to this habitat. I added a lot of lily pads, but I also wanted to add some duckweed, as it is very typical for swamps, but obviously we don't have this kind of plant in this game, I mean the duckweed. So I decided to use the ivy and put it on the surface of the water, and I think that it looks very nice, almost like a duckweed. So don't be surprised guys if you see some ivy floating inside of this water area in this habitat. Okay guys, this is all that I have for you today. Please enjoy the rest of this speed build and stay till the end if you want to see the cinematic shots of this entire habitat. You will also be able to see the dinosaurs roaming through this swamp. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to see more of those Prehistoric Kingdom Alpha videos before the alpha is over. The alpha will be available for us till the end of April, and then we'll have to wait a bit for beta. So please subscribe if you want to see all the habitats for all the dinosaurs that are currently available in the alpha. Also, give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and comment down below if you like this habitat or if you have any recommendations on how I can improve my future videos. Thank you guys for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!